Now to our first keynote speakers. They have created one of the most successful Swedish-founded internet companies. From 0 to 100 million euro in revenue with 40% profit margin in 8 years. When Naspers bought Kinnevik's shares in this company last year, it was valued at 2.3 billion euro. So another unicorn was created. I think there are some of you here that really would like to know, how did they do that? and what are the takeaways? So please welcome on stage the founders of Avito, Jonas Norlander and Filip Engelbert.
Said it's the only thing we know how to do. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. We work hard, play hard, keep partying like it's your job. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. We work hard, play hard, keep partying like it's
Hi everybody, how are you?
Hi.
Per, you said, so how did you do it? And I think it's actually in this song. We worked extremely hard and we had extremely fun. And whenever we have a corporate event, we actually use this very corny song, but very good song. So we thought today we will not speak so much about Avito, but rather share a couple of sort of key lessons, learnings that we experienced during the way. So just for you know who don't know what Avito is, how many of you Swedish in here? Quite a few. So you can tell your neighbors if they don't know. So we are the equivalent of Blocket, but in Russia. But we are a Blocket on steroids. There's nothing all Russians are almost touched by Avito every day. We have, if Blocket has 20,000 new items in a day, we can get up to 1 million new items in a day. We have hundreds of thousands of people coming to our site, selling something every day. With the biggest job employer, with the biggest aggregator of services, etc., etc. But we're not talking about that. But in short terms, it's a big fucking company nowadays. We are, in terms of size, we're pretty similar to if you add all the Sting companies together. We are 1,000 people, adding 50 people per month. Pretty much the same revenues as Sting. What more, raised a little bit less than Sting and make money. So my first advice, is this the entrepreneurs somewhere where you just spread out? I guess you spread out since you're not saying anything. So Avito was started in 2007 by Jonas and me and another group of people. And it was a bumpy road up until 2009. And I think at 2009 we were at a point that we needed to, it was sort of make it or break it. I think we struggled and we haven't really found the secret recipe. I think we had it 90%, but you know it's the last 10% that makes the perfect sauce. And so how do you do that? How do you know what's the right thing? And how do you come about that? And for us it was very, very simple. We focused only on one thing. And that thing is that if you go to this Blocket and you put something for sale, you should get a call. In all essence, what are you actually doing? If you can boil it down, take away all the fluff, take away financial KPIs, what is the DNA of what you're doing? And that we found. And from that on, everything has fallen in place. And coincidentally, yesterday we had a long meeting with our senior staff in Moscow, and now we're doing so much stuff that it's just overwhelming. It gives you anxieties. But at the end of the day, we came away with that meeting. What is the most important thing we do? I mean, we have investors that want ROI, we have clients, etc. Is that people sell their stuff. So that's the first key lesson. Don't get not delusionized. Don't make sure you have one or maybe two things to follow, and make sure that everybody knows about that. Over to you, Jonas. This will be a challenge for Jonas now because he can. I mean, for you to speak only in a few minutes, that's going to be difficult.
45.
Yes, exactly.
No, so we were, we've been thinking sort of not together, which we usually do, but I was just sort of thinking about what made us successful, and having now had the pleasure of meeting lots of entrepreneurs, both as sort of made-up investors. We're not professional investors, but we like entrepreneurs. So when we having the fortune to have some money, we've spent some with you, and having met a lot of investors, which is not always as pleasant, but sort of a necessary evil to a certain extent. I came up with something which I've been speaking about a lot to the entrepreneurs, but actually we spoke about to some of the investors that we did like, and that's sort of the team, but also when you start something, there's usually someone who comes up with the idea. But if you can team up with someone that you do like and who could actually complement you, and I met this guy, and we have, as Philip said, played hard and worked hard, which in our case meant that we have consumed immense amounts of alcohol and skied an immense lot of vertical meters around the world. But we really do everything together, and we're really, really good friends. I would say we're best friends. I don't know if he agrees, but we speak about everything, and we can challenge each other. That's, I think, something which is not always the case in teams. There might be one founder that wants to be the founder, but from sort of having looked at cases that we looked at and people that we met, and I think some of you who are investors who've looked at this, you would agree with me that if you have a team of 2 or perhaps 3 or even 4 people that complement each other, the likelihood of success is a lot bigger. And how do you sort of get around to solve that? And I think here, if you have an idea, and even if you had an idea for a year, we met with BlaBlaCar, a fantastic company in France, which is another unicorn now. They had a founder who then brought in co-founders in the company, but that was after a few years even. But those guys love each other, and they have so much fun, and I'm 100% sure that the success they've had is because he managed to sort of come around, not to be the sole founder of the company, but actually seeing it in the light of having friends join and making them co-founders. And the second thing is, which some of you might have gone through.
No, but was that the first advice?
Yeah,
Or
but
is you go to the second?
no, it's just a connection to the team.
Okay.
So, but that's what happens after you met someone like Philip, and then you're in a growth phase, and you start to build a team, and you have people you really like, and they're sort of they've done everything they can give for you and your company, but you reach a stage where they can't really grow with you, and you can't really help them grow with the company. And that's something we've been through a few times, and I know that there's a few other people that we know that have been through the same thing. And some people do it very successfully, and I believe we have, which is you're able to part with people who have been, close friends, really, really important in your business, but can't really take the next step. Be able to separate from them and actually being able to have a beer a few months after, and still call each other friends. And that's very difficult, but I think another truly important part of our success, and I believe many other companies.
Thank you. Good. So, as you understand, we work together, and the way we divide our work, which was, I guess, based on interest, is that Jonas is a product man and a marketing man, so he spends the money and I make the money. That has been very simple. So I've been speaking to investors and been very revenue-oriented, whereas Jonas has built the brand and our product, and he will come back on that. So I've been, from our part, the one that's raised money for Avito. So how many are you out in fundraisings?
A lot.
Quite a few. Quite a few. So Avito, we raised $175 million in, I would guess, 2 to 3 years. And I think that when I meet investors or companies here, there are some common errors, I think, that is made. One is that you cannot go to investors and do soul searching. you cannot come to a person like Jonas or me or any of the sort of angel investors here saying that this is my business plan. Is this good? Is this what you should do? What do you think about this? I mean, that's just not good for business. Who wants to invest in a business like that? I mean, you need to be determined on what you do. And of course, you should not be stupid enough not to listen to good advice. But if you don't know how to do it, who do you expect, who should know it? So that's extremely important. Second thing is that it's almost, or it's absolutely nothing like going to Cafe Opera and finding a woman or a boy for the night. It's absolutely not like that. This is about marriage, and this is about it takes time to mate. I think that, I mean, I haven't seen data around this, but I would presume that of all the investments that make, or all fundraisers that are happening, that the likelihood of an investor invest into a company where they not met the company until the process starts, I think is extremely low. I mean, none of the investors that invest in Avito came in sort of in the process. This has taken years. And the best way to cultivate your investor base or your future investor base is to meet them when you're not fundraising. Then you're relaxed, you can say we raised funds, and you can sort of undercommit, over deliver. You say, I was here half a year ago, I talked to you, now I fundraised. And then all investors get happy because then there is no risk. And we love that as investors. The less risk, the higher reward. This is better. So go out. So once you complete the financing round, go out and meet a few more investors. Get your base larger. Thirdly is
Within the same advisor, are you on the third one, or?
yeah, but it's in the third. So it's in the second or how. One of our early investors was a person called Adolf Lundin, who was a big financier and entrepreneur in Sweden, and he had one very simple advice to us: when there's cash on the table, grab it. I think, and it's common sense. Don't get picky. I mean, you get to get picky about the people, but when there is money there, grab it, because if you don't have a business that's going to be break even with this funding round, you never know when to get the next round of financing, and you don't want to go around asking for money when you need money, as I said before. So that was in conclusion, fundraising is a long-term process, and it's almost like marriage. I mean, I see Marta from Northzone sitting here. Northzone invested us in 2010. It's been a fantastic relationship, not only with you, Marta, but with your colleagues too. No, but it's you need to like the people, and I think you need to come to a phase in these fundraisers where you can actually tell somebody the chemistry doesn't work. That's why I want to go over here, because this company gives me more what I want to do. So that's it for. That was the second advice.
Sorry, Marta, that was not you mentioned the last North Face party. That what happened there stays between you.
Yes.
That's private.
What happens in Moscow stays in Moscow, Marta. Yes.
No, and connecting to what Philip mentioned about grabbing money on the table, and when there is money, I think to build a business, you need funds, and in our case, you need a lot of funds. It's a very front-heavy type of business where you need to build a brand, you need to build presence, and some of you in here are struggling with the same challenge. You have an idea, you know it will fly, and if you just had the cash to sort of invest into marketing, you could prove that. And again, the good entrepreneurs that we managed to meet have, in most cases, been able to raise a bit more money than they needed, because you always need more money than you think. And with some more money in your pocket, you have what we call fuck-off money, which means that you can tell everyone to fuck off. And that gives you an ability to take more risk. And building business is about sort of taking risk, but taking smart risk. And so if you're an investor, you obviously invested into the team, and you invested into an idea, which means that you believe in it, I would assume. And in our case, what we learned and what we have then seen in comparison to others who have failed with what we have done is that when you get to a point where you actually know what you're doing and you can measure that, then underinvesting is the worst thing you can do, Because underinvesting into, let's say, a marketing campaign, which is a good example because I've invested in a lot of marketing campaigns, is that you put your basic idea to risk. So what's going to happen is if it doesn't really fly, you're going to start to think, did I invest enough or did I do it wrong? You don't really know. So a concept that we have developed and which we have used in the countries where we have rolled out is that we put, when we have something that we actually believe in, we put a big bag of money on the table. So we're putting a lot of risk into it. And that has proven to be right the most time, but it's been a sort of a work together with investors. So even if there's not enough money, we have gone back to investors in the early days and said, we really believe in this. Do you believe in us? If you don't believe in us, you fire us. And then there might be no more company. But we have we have managed to convince them to actually put some money on the table, a bit more than was originally thought. And here we are as people, when we sit and meet entrepreneurs in the companies that we have invested in, we are pushing this, which means that, put your money where your mouth is, and you as company builders, take that risk. If you actually really believe in what you're doing, which I'm sure you do, then making that sort of bigger jump to be able to rule out the uncertainty of not having done everything in your power. Because then you get to a point where you can also say, this doesn't actually work. And then you can close it instead of suffering for a few more years trying to save something that cannot be saved. And this is something that we strongly believe in. I think it's a valuable advice.
Now I'll go, we're at 23 seconds. I will actually go with one more advice. It's part of my second advice, actually. So when you go
Tying in, sort of.
Sorry, yeah. When you're out fundraising, don't raise too little money. I think that's a common mistake, in particular in Sweden. Because then you get money for half a year. I mean, you should bootstrap. You should spend economically and wisely. But raising money just to find yourself going out fundraising 1 month after. So I think we've always said that it needs to be enough money for 18 months and start the next fundraising earliest the 12 months. Because otherwise, fundraisings take time. So make sure you attract enough capital. And any good investor, in my opinion, will support that. That was 23 seconds overtime.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Thanks a lot. There's tons of advice, I think, in here, in your experience. We will have some questions and answers, and there's some microphones for public questions. I have one first. The concept of plan B, always having a plan B, that's a concept that is nice, but it's not always easy to execute. How have you thought about and work with sort of plan B if it's going to in the wrong direction with the main plan?
We never worked with it.
Okay.
The cons. So we work with either we succeed with plan A or not. And if we don't succeed with plan A, then we sort it out.
Okay.
But having said that, it's not that we don't care, but I think we work extremely hard with plans. I mean, detailed, almost weekly plans with whatever we do. And then, but if we don't succeed, then we take that, and that happens all the time.
Yeah.
But there is no plan B.
formal plan B.
Yeah,
Okay.
and sort of shamelessly be able to accept that plan A was wrong.
Yeah.
And present that very early on.
Yeah.
That is also something, because that's the trust you have between the people who actually put up the money and you as a team. So to be able to say like this sometime, you also need to be very straightforward when things are going sour.
And make a new plan A.
Yeah.
So there's a microphones here if somebody would like to raise a question. There's a question over there. So if we put a microphone there. And meanwhile, you either think of very intelligent questions.
Yes, I'm Lennart Swanberg from Belly Balance, and I'm just wondering about Russia. What's the specifics of doing business in Russia, if you can talk about that a little bit?
You need more people than you need in Sweden for things that seem very easy to us. Accounting, legal, back office. Very document heavy, sort of like the US. But that's very, very different from building businesses in Sweden, where you can have a good CFO who can sort of make the most of things for a long, long time.
And it's a great country to do business in, because I guess from your question a little bit, people are still afraid of Russia, and they think you get shot by gangsters, and if you don't get shot by gangsters, the tax police will take it. If tax police doesn't take it, your company, then Putin will. But it doesn't work that way.
Low competition. If you have money that could last you throughout your idea, you have a great head start from most companies there, because it's very short-sighted.
Any other question here?
Per,
Oh, over there.
a quick question. Could you elaborate a little bit on hiring and firing strategy?
Who's that? I don't see something.
Ah, it's
Klaus.
over there.
Klaus Hommels.
Klaus.
A hiring and firing strategy. How do you build up teams, and how much patience do you have in terms of changing a decisive position in the team?
I think you always have too much patience. That's sort of not in a startup phase, but or at least I didn't. I fired people I hired the same day as I hired them, but which was different from having built a business in Sweden, where I didn't fire anyone, I think. But then when you get to a stage where you have really professional people, and touches on the things that I mentioned before, it becomes immensely difficult to take those decisions. And here again, it's really been the two of us taking those hard decisions together. And as I told my team, if you get the red arrow on your chest, and both of us are pointing our guns on your chest, it's a very, very low likelihood of you surviving. But in a nice way. But no, I think we spend a lot of time, an immense a lot of time, like ridiculous. People would think that we are ridiculous when it comes to hiring key people, which means that we take them out, we drink, which we like to do, and we also take them through an enormous amount of tests, and they meet people, and we also bring them into the secret caves of the company, which is our management meeting, or even our executive management meetings, where we talk very openly about all the issues and possibilities with our business. And having done that, and having had the people meet all the team, then we make sort of a united decision. So when it goes wrong, then it's easier also to fire away.
Any other questions? Okay. Then I have
one.
Yeah, there's one there. Yeah.
Shout.
Yeah, it's coming. So Niklas.
Yes. Hi. So what was your initial plan, your initial vision? Was it that you would build this, unicorn and like take over the world, Blocket style, but all over the world, or like what was your initial idea and vision? Was this what you targeted from the day one?
Absolutely not. But I cannot say that what I share. That's a long story. But if we even start in 2010, when we sort of got the KPIs right, even then I think we underestimated how big Avito would get. I mean, we could not ourselves see sort of how big. We knew that we were onto something. So I think, if anything, it's just been expanding all the time. But I think we had a dream of building a $1 billion company. I think this was before the term unicorn was mentioned. And it was not so much the wealth or the value, but more what it symbolizes. You cannot build a $1 billion company just based on expectations or a patent, rarely at least. So it's good management, good people, good business model, good growth, good profitability. And I think that we were pretty convinced very early on. This is a company we're going to build that's going to last for a long, long, long time. I mean, we're still only 5% down the line of what we want to achieve, actually.
Thank you very much. Before you leave the stage, I would like to welcome Lisa Källqvist. She is CEO of one of the current Sting accelerator companies, and also with the company Sniff. I think she has a present for you.
Nice.
But before you get it, I will steal just 30 seconds telling you what Sniff is all about. According to the statistics, most of you in here wear perfume. You like to smell good, right? And just like Nespresso has done to the average coffee drinkers, or Spotify for that matter, to people that listen to music, we will change the way people consume and buy perfume. So we offer a subscription service of small bottles of perfume. And as a subscriber, you select a theme out of 4, which you can see examples of there. And we also collect user feedback to actually improve your perfume profile. And yeah, I happen to have chosen 2 of my favorite perfumes for you guys. And I hope you love them as much as I do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I have a question to you.
Yeah.
In Sniff, so you get user feedback, but you also get user feedback on if he tries it and I rate him, how he
Yes.
smells.
Yes, we actually get that kind of feedback on our.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
That's
so
taking it one more level.
You should let me know. Yeah.
When you
Thanks
sit-
a lot.
when
Thank you.
sit with me. Thank you.
Thank you.